I'm Karen Kapsanis. I'm the editor of the Journal of Protective Coatings and Linings. I'm here at SSPC 2011, and I'm sitting with Joyce Wright, who is the program manager for organizational development with Northrup Grumman. We're here to find out a little bit about what Joyce has learned over her 30 years in the coatings industry.
The last 30 years in coatings for me have been great years. It started out, I was a painter's helper. Got hired in at the shipyard, and after 2 years, had enough credits to go to the apprentice school. So it is an accredited apprentice school, and they actually have a 4-year apprenticeship on coatings. So I finished that 4-year apprenticeship and actually finished it early, luckily with some merit raises and working hard. And after that, I was promoted to supervisor, also in the paint department, and I did that for many years on aircraft carriers, submarines, just about everything that we work on there at the shipyard. An apprentice's helper, or even a painter's helper, back in 1979 was probably not luxurious work. In fact, I didn't even see paint for probably the first 2 years. But I learned a lot about surface prep and what we used to call bust and rust. And I did a lot of it.
You have come a long way from busting rust.
Yes.
Can you tell us now what your biggest challenges are in your work at Northrop Grumman?
Well, I think today, Karen, the biggest challenges, and at the same time the rewards for me, is being in training. And I'm really training the future leaders, not only in the coating industry, but in shipbuilding itself. And I think no matter what industry we're in today, leadership is really where a lot of it starts. As leaders in this industry, we have to try to find out how do we get that talent to our industry, and then how do we keep it?
How many students would you have in a class?
24. That's how big my classroom is, and I try to fill every seat. My supervisor's class, when they first become promoted, is a 5-day class. So that's usually once a month as promotions come through. And then at the same time, my emerging leader program is a 9-month program. We read at least 4 to 5 books on leadership. We do several self-assessments. That's really where we start with emerging leaders, and that is, who are you? Okay, before we can figure out your career path, where you want to go, we have to find out who you are. So we start there, and then we do our career path development. We also do several classroom sessions where I have some subject matter experts come in, talk to them on different categories such as conflict management, situational leadership. At the end, we have a capstone where they have to do a 3-minute presentation in front of their mentor, their boss, and usually the director in their division as well. And it's an opportunity to kind of sell themselves. What's their short-term goals? What's their long-term goals? And what do they bring to the table? So it's kind of interesting.
Well, you spend a lot of time in the classroom. Are you ever on a ship anymore?
I've never forgotten about my craft and my trade that I started in, and I try to keep it at the forefront at the same time trying to build leaders.
Well, you do a lot of mentoring. Who has been your mentor, or who has influenced you in this industry?
I think my mentors were really unspoken mentors. I didn't really ask anybody to be my mentor. I don't know that I really had that option in the years that I came up through the industry. But I miss that, and I wished I'd had it.
What would you say is the most pressing need for the industry at this point?
I think as an industry, we have got to open our minds and our doors to change. If we spent half as much time as I see some people spending on how not to do a procedure or how not to have to follow all of those steps, we would probably be leap years ahead of what we are now. So So I think we really need to spend some time opening ourselves to change. We've got to have change in this industry, new technologies. We've got to have people on our staffs that probably have been so-called people that we don't talk to. Those are the people we need to work together on. Environmentalists, they should be on our staffs as we do coatings and going forward. So I just see a lot of things, a lot of potential in the industry, and a lot of it comes down to the word change, and not everybody is welcome to that, but we've got to start. I think we need to develop leaders. Leaders are not born. Leaders just don't come out of the woodwork. All of us that have been with SSPC and in this industry for many, many years, we evolved. And a lot of us had to evolve alone. And we don't have time for that anymore. With the way technology is, we need to find the talent. We need to keep the talent here with us.